Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle, and thank you for joining me here. So today we have an article from the New York Post that I missed when it was published a few days ago. So, women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do, by Hannah Frischberg. From, of course, September 25th, 2019. So a good man is hard to find, especially in this economy. Oh no. The country is facing a crisis of broke dudes, according to new research from Cornell University, and it's left successful ladies single and disgruntled. Oh no, think of the women at the expense of men. In the study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family, Cornell sociologists explored America's declining marriage rate. They discovered a lack of financially eligible bachelors. It seems like they're only focused on the financial part of men. There are shortages of economically attractive men, lead study author Daniel T. Lichter tells the Post. Although we like to think marriage is based on love, which it isn't, he says it also is fundamentally an economic transaction, and women want partners whom they can call their equals. Now, this is very similar to the article I responded to that almost did, I think, the exact same things a few weeks ago. But anyways, Lichter, who has been studying marriage for 30 years, says the gig economy and a lack of good jobs have contributed to the dearth of well-to-do dudes. So has the fact that women are outpacing men educationally, upending the age-old dominance of the male breadwinner over the past 5 to 10 years. Now it is a case that more highly educated women are marrying down, says Lichter. Well, I don't know about that. Men have to get with the program. Just because women are becoming more and more educated doesn't mean they're smarter, doesn't mean they're more intelligent. Single New Yorker Gina Thibodeau, I'm going to guess that's how you pronounce it, has some theories of her own about the fella famine. Oh god. I generally find that dudes these days just do less across the board, says the nurse practitioner. Their parents have coddled them and taken care of them, and they just don't go out there and make more money, as if it was that easy. And apparently, there's a picture of Gina Thibodeau right here. And Jesus Christ, no wonder she's single. Oh. But anyways, the 38-year-old Upper East Sider stresses that she's not looking for anything outrageous. Safety, security as far as finances go, but she's still coming up empty on dates. Well, has she seen herself in the mirror? She's past the wall. Anyways, she says it's because the men she goes out with don't feel the innate push to succeed that she does, which I will come back to that sentence because that's very revealing. I think for years they've always taken their role in society for granted, and I think that they're just getting lazy culturally, she says. Ooh. Morgan Jordan, a staff administrator at a South Carolina college, says she's also struggling to find a partner on her level. I don't even consider myself all that successful. I just make a living wage, and I'm comfortable, says a 32-year-old, oh, there's a problem, who lives in upstate South Carolina and recently paid off her student loans, but the majority of guys she meets can't say the same. Most men that I encounter, they're really underemployed, oh god, tell me about it, and they can't seem to make a living themselves, she says, adding that many are wildly in debt, intimidated by her stability. Ooh. I don't know about that. You can tell that some men really want to be the more traditional breadwinner, says Jordan. Oh. Boston single Jake Rivas gets where they're coming from. My prospective partner's income is something I consider, says a 28-year-old who works as a staff caregiver at a group home. Being on the lower end myself only serves to feed insecurity, which I will cover in a little bit. Graduate student Isaac Suarez says he's not turned off by a woman who means business, but he has found that his relationships tend to last longer when he makes a similar amount as his partner. I have dated women with money, and full-time professional women tend to be busier, and it's more difficult to find time to spend together, says a 26-year-old who lives in Portland, Oregon. Anytime I say Portland, Oregon, I'm always questioning that. But anyways, Thibodeau says she knows it's not necessarily a guy's fault if he's struggling financially. Still, given the circumstances, she's had to devise a plan B for her future. Well, all females devise a plan B, with or without a relationship. If Mr. Right doesn't come along soon, she may just shack up with some lady friends at the professional level. Maybe in a few years, we'll move in together, she says. They're successful, and I like them, but she doesn't love them, because they won't give her their money. But anyways, this is very similar to the article I covered a few weeks ago. concerning the lack of economically attractive men, but this is pretty much the same thing. But let's start back up at the beginning. A good man is hard to find, especially in this economy. This sentence alone tells you everything you need to know about females and how they see relationships, as well as what defines a good man. That short sentence has so much information in it. According to females, good men only are males who make the same amount of money or more compared to the females. That's it. Females, they just be gold diggers. And that's where I could leave this video. I could say, yep, that's it. But no, let's go on a little bit further. So, the second sentence merely reinforces the message of the first. The country is facing a crisis of broke dudes, according to new research from Cornell University, and it's left successful ladies, single, and disgruntled. All women care about is money and maybe themselves. It's interesting to note, though, that Cornell University sociologists explored America's declining marriage rate and only reported that there were less and less financially eligible bachelors. Is that all they were looking for? Just the lack of financially eligible bachelors? Did these social scientists also discover the lack of debt-free virgins without tattoos? No? Did they not find that either? You know why? Because it's almost impossible to find one of those debt-free virgins without tattoos in 2019 America. But anyways, furthermore, Lichter, one of the lead study author, told the Post that women want men whom they can call their equals. And that's very, very interesting. You say, equals. That's basically the same thing that feminists scream when they call for supposed equality. According to them, of course, equality is the transfer of both wealth and power from men to women, and never the reverse. Some feminists claim that they're fighting for equality, but refuse to give up the reasons why women initiate 80% or more of all divorces, why women almost always get custody of children in a divorce, and why men must pay alimony or child support to a woman after a divorce most of the time. After all, if we are all equal or striving to be equal, then why should only one party suffer at the hands of another? Doesn't seem like it's very equal to me. But this social scientist continues to go on and states that the lack of good jobs for men have helped kill potential partners. I wonder why. Is it because women are gifted affirmative action and are hired to fill quotas despite most of them being of lesser quality or caliber? No, that answer is too logical. It must be the patriarchy, not the matriarchy, keeping men down because reasons. Now, I guess this article brings up, Gina Thibodeau, who is, as I said earlier, single. She's a nurse, apparently, and can't find a supposedly economically attractive man. She thinks that it is the parents of the men who have stunted the man's growth and independence. I would argue that the parents are just trying to support their son until he lands a stable job. She, Gina, of course, further goes on and says that men just don't go out there and just make more money. How is that possible in today's world? Or how is that ever possible? You can't just go get a job and make tons and tons and tons of money. That takes time for most men. And as more and more women take men's jobs away, there's going to be less and less men who can afford a female. However, of course, Gina reveals a very telling aspect of her nature which I need everyone to understand. She says it's because the men she goes out with don't feel the innate push to succeed that she does. That tells you so much that some people would think nothing of it. Let me explain. She wants to succeed in settling down with an economically attractive male who's most likely wealthier, or let's be real, a wealthier male than herself, because her biological clock is screaming at her. Her body is telling her that her time is almost up for her to have kids. If anything, if she even has kids now, they will most likely come out as mentally retarded. I don't like it, but that's just a fact of nature. The older a woman's eggs are, the higher the chance of the child coming out mentally stunted or slowed or retarded. Doesn't matter what word you put in there, the fact still comes out the same. And think about the other side. Why would a 38-year-old male settle down? He's still in the decade of the prime of his life if he's been building it up. Even if he started with nothing, as long as men continue to work and attempt to be successful, they will eventually find success. And the 30s for men are much better for them then than in their 20s or even their teens, most likely. The male in his 30s would most likely have options to date people his own age and even younger. There's no need for a male in his 30s to settle down, unless he really feels like it. Now, her next point, of course, is pure projection. She says that, I think for years, they've always just taken their role in society for granted. And I think that they're just getting lazy culturally. Oh man, oh my God. Who in society has taken the role for granted? Is it men or women? No matter what happens, men always have the same role. They must protect and provide for society, or society just won't exist. It is women who have taken their role for granted in society and are still complaining about supposed oppression by a supposed patriarchy. In the history of human civilization, it has never been a greater time to be an upper middle class female. If anything, females are the most culturally lazy people. When was the last time you had a conversation regarding history, philosophy, religion, or economics with females? They're not interested in being culturally relevant or knowledgeable. When was the last time you had a discussion of a music composer's work? Not just a pop musician composer's work, but a more classical music composer's work. Or maybe even an artist's vision for a gallery piece. Women in general don't care about that stuff. They can say they do, but they really don't. Of course, Morgan Jordan, is struggling to find a partner on her own level. That means she won't settle for anyone who is, in her eyes, less than her. It sounds like she has a personal problem that will never go away, much like the rest of these females. She says that men are intimidated by her stability. When the heck was the last time a guy was intimidated by anyone's stability? Now, let me explain that after reading Jake Rivas' reply. He says, Jake here, that my prospective's partner's income is something I consider. Being on the lower end myself only serves to feed insecurity. Now, I need to explain this. Stability here isn't the issue, but you got to think of it as the instinct that we men have regarding women who make more money than men. We understand as men, consciously or not, that the likelihood of a female leaving us, if she makes more money than us, is drastically higher. If a woman can do better, odds are she will leave to do better. It isn't stability that is an issue, but an understanding that the female is much more likely to leave if she makes more money than the male. That's the issue. What's the point of establishing a relationship with someone who will just leave because they have a higher chance to do so? Just look at what Isaac Suarez said. He's not turned off by a woman who means business, but he has found that his relationships tend to last longer when he makes a similar amount as his partner. Women want someone who is at the very least supposedly equal, but will take someone better than themselves. And finally, just look at Gina Thibaudeau's last statement. She cannot find supposedly good enough men to settle down with. And because of that, she won't settle down with men she considers her inferiors. Well, she considers her inferiors. She is stating that she will not have kids if she cannot find Mr. Right or Prince Charming. There are only so many Mr. Rights in the world, as well as so many Prince Charmings. If you want to have a stable, replacement-level native birth rate in the United States or any Western nation, we have the solution. Don't let women get a college education and don't let them vote. Just look at the Amish women. It's that easy. Women's standards would go down if we did that. Just look at Africa. A vast majority of Africa, their women don't go to school. They don't vote. and their birth rates are drastically higher compared to those of Western civilization. But you know what? Until we actually do something about that, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great day.